Some military units were so effective, so feared, and so deadly that entire armies changed their plans simply because these warriors appeared on the battlefield. Some fought with swords, others with rifles. Some operated in complete silence. Others became legends that survived for centuries. But they all shared one thing. They were elite, highly trained, exceptionally disciplined, and often capable of accomplishing missions that ordinary soldiers could not. Today, we're exploring some of the most dangerous military units in history, from ancient battlefields to modern special operations, from medieval assassins to the world's most elite commandos. These are the warriors who changed warfare forever.
1. Khalid ibn al-Walid's army. Long before modern military academies existed, one commander earned a reputation that few warriors in history have ever matched. Khalid ibn al-Walid, known throughout history as the Sword of Allah. What made Khalid extraordinary was not merely bravery. Many soldiers are brave, many commanders are courageous, but very few are military geniuses. Khalid repeatedly defeated larger armies, again and again. His campaigns against both the Byzantine Empire and the Sasanian Persian Empire became military case studies centuries later. One of his greatest strengths was mobility. His armies moved faster than enemies believed possible. He frequently appeared where opponents least expected him. Before they could react, the battle was often already lost. The famous Desert March during the campaign in Iraq remains one of the most impressive military maneuvers of the ancient world. Instead of taking the predictable route, Khalid led his forces through harsh desert terrain that many considered impossible to cross. The result? His enemies were completely surprised. But perhaps the most impressive fact is this. Historical sources describe Khalid participating in dozens of major battles without suffering a decisive defeat, an achievement almost unheard of in military history. His leadership transformed relatively small forces into one of the most feared fighting armies of the 7th century, and his name remains legendary more than 1,300 years later.
The Hashashin. Centuries later, a very different type of military organization emerged. The Hashashin, known in the West as the Assassins. Unlike traditional armies, they specialized in something far more terrifying: precision. Instead of large battles, they targeted specific individuals: kings, generals, governors, religious leaders. Their operations often involved months of preparation, sometimes years. Agents infiltrated cities, gathered intelligence, studied routines, and waited patiently for the perfect moment. Then, suddenly, the target would be eliminated. The psychological impact was enormous. Powerful rulers slept uneasily because no wall seemed high enough, no guard seemed strong enough, no palace seemed secure enough. The Hashashin demonstrated something revolutionary. A small, disciplined organization could influence history without controlling a massive army. Their reputation became so powerful that stories about them spread across Europe, the Middle East, and Asia. And even today, their legacy continues to inspire books, movies, and video games.
3. The Samurai. Few warrior classes in history have become as famous as the samurai. For centuries, the samurai served as the military elite of feudal Japan. But popular culture often gets one thing wrong. The samurai were not simply swordsmen. They were professional warriors, military officers, strategists, and members of an entire warrior culture. Their most famous weapon was the katana, a blade that became legendary around the world. But samurai also used bows, spears, and eventually firearms. What truly separated them from ordinary soldiers was discipline. From a young age,
many samurai were trained in combat, leadership, and self-control. They followed a code known as Bushido, a philosophy emphasizing loyalty, honor, courage, and duty. On the battlefield, samurai often led troops and played critical roles in major conflicts across Japan. Their influence lasted for centuries. And even after the age of the samurai ended, their legacy became one of the most recognized warrior traditions in human history.
4. The Janissaries. When the Ottoman Empire was expanding across 3 continents, one military force stood at the center of its power: the Janissaries. For centuries, they were among the most disciplined and effective infantry forces in the world. Unlike many medieval armies that relied heavily on feudal warriors, the Janissaries were a permanent, professional military organization. They trained constantly, maintained strict discipline, and developed an extraordinary reputation on the battlefield. As firearms began changing warfare, the Janissaries adapted quickly. They became one of the first major military forces to effectively integrate gunpowder weapons into large-scale combat. European armies studied them, feared them, and often struggled against them. For generations, the Janissaries served as the backbone of Ottoman military power, helping build one of the largest empires in history.
5. The Mamluks. Many military units were created by kingdoms. The Mamluks were different. They eventually became rulers themselves. Originally trained as elite military slaves, the Mamluks developed into one of the most formidable cavalry forces ever assembled. Their horsemanship was extraordinary. Their combat training was relentless, and their battlefield discipline became legendary. The moment that secured their place in history came during the Mongol invasions. At the time, the Mongols seemed unstoppable. They had crushed kingdoms across Asia and the Middle East. Many believed no army could defeat them. Then came the Battle of Ain Jalut in 1260. The Mamluks achieved what few thought possible. They stopped a major Mongol advance and proved the Mongol war machine could be beaten. It was one of the most important military victories in medieval history, and it cemented the Mamluks' reputation as one of history's most dangerous fighting forces.
6. The Gurkhas. Not all legendary warriors come from vast empires. Some come from mountains. The Gurkhas of Nepal have earned one of the most respected reputations in military history. For more than 2 centuries, their courage has become legendary. British officers who fought against the Gurkhas in the 19th century were so impressed that they later recruited them. And that tradition continues today. Gurkhas became known for toughness, endurance, and fearlessness under pressure. Their iconic weapon, the kukri knife, became a symbol of their warrior identity. But their reputation was not built on weapons alone. It was built on performance, again and again, across numerous conflicts, from mountain warfare to modern combat zones. The Gurkhas demonstrated remarkable professionalism and determination. Many military historians consider them among the finest infantry soldiers ever produced.
7. Delta Force and Navy SEALs. As warfare evolved, a new kind of elite unit emerged: Special Operations Forces. Among the most famous are Delta Force and the Navy SEALs. These units were designed for missions that demand exceptional skill, precision, and preparation. Hostage rescues, counter-terrorism operations, high-risk reconnaissance, and specialized military missions. Selection standards are extremely demanding. Only a small percentage of candidates successfully complete training. Those who do become part of some of the most capable military organizations on Earth. Their operations often occur far from public attention. Many missions remain classified for years or forever. What makes these units so respected is not simply physical strength. It is adaptability, decision-making, teamwork, and the ability to perform under extreme pressure. They represent the modern evolution of elite warfare.
8. The Iranian Revolutionary Guard. Some military organizations combine conventional military power with strategic influence. The Iranian Revolutionary Guard is one example. Created after the Iranian Revolution of 1979, it developed into one of the most influential military organizations in the Middle East. Over the decades, the organization expanded its capabilities significantly. Today, it operates across multiple domains, including land forces, naval units, missile programs, and specialized formations. Its influence extends beyond traditional military operations, making it a major regional force. Whether viewed through the lens of military strategy or geopolitical influence, the Revolutionary Guard has become one of the most significant military organizations of the modern era.
Why elite units change history. When people think about military history, they often focus on numbers, the largest armies, the biggest battles, the most powerful empires. But history repeatedly shows something different. Small groups of extraordinary warriors can change everything. Khalid ibn al-Walid's armies, the Hashashin, the samurai, the Janissaries, the Mamluks, the Gurkhas, Delta Force, the Navy SEALs, and the Revolutionary Guard. Each emerged in a different place, a different era, and under different circumstances. Yet they all shared the same foundation: discipline, training, leadership, and the ability to accomplish what others believed was impossible. That is why they became feared. That is why they became legendary. And that is why centuries later, we are still talking about them. Because weapons change, technology changes, empires rise and fall. But elite warriors leave a mark on history that can survive forever.